There we go. Wow, that was quick. Hello.
Good morning, afternoon, evening.
One of those, yeah.
Whatever it is there.
It's all the same for me. I kind of, I don't adhere to regular time slots.
You're nocturnal.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, welcome, Rod. How are you doing?
I'm fine. A bit slow on traffic, money, sales, etc. But
yeah.
Other than that,
well, I titled this "Two Grumpy Old Men." We thought we'd get together and just see how things are going, and we have just had possibly our worst weekend of sales for years. Multiple. We've got plenty of stuff on. We did have quite a slow week of listing because it was half term here, so kids were off school. Ellen was at home. We did a couple of things, a couple of trips out and whatever. So didn't get a lot on, but sales were really bad. And Andrea speaks to, the seller ladies and her friends quite often, and they've all suffered as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if something wider is going on. So how have your sales been?
Shocking. I'll just mute my phone. Sorry.
That's all right. Let us know in the chat as well. I mean, there's always exceptions, and I find, if sales have slumped for us, there's always somebody who's bucking that trend. It'll be interesting to know what you say in the chat. Hi, Damien. Slow here. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hi, Joe. How are you doing? Hi, Aaron. Trying to do packing, catch up with YouTube vids. Looks like that's ended now. You can pack and watch us. You can just listen.
I find it hard too. I can listen to the live streams, but I tend to, if I'm listening, or I've not got dual monitors, but if I'm listening or I'm packing, I have to kind of put the screen away and just listen to the live streams, because it does get you too distracted.
I'll be honest on this, I can't have YouTube playing unless it's just a music video, so I can just put that window to the back.
Yeah.
But usually I just have my stereo on that I've got set up here. I've actually got a record player set up in here now. I've gone all fancy.
You got your old Mac Monroe spinning round.
That's the one, yeah. But yeah, it can be really distracting, I'll be honest. And I get sucked in, I ended up watching Ads' video earlier, and that sent me down a rabbit. Have you seen Ads' recent one?
The last one I saw from Adam was, to be honest, it wasn't all that long off. He did that 24-hour blitz. I had a problem with my computer, and during that 2.5 week period I took away from everywhere, I did do a lot of culling. So there was a lot of videos in YouTubers that didn't do videos anymore, or were obscure genres, as Andrew loves the word. So I've just done a bit of a cull, but I've gradually started bringing people back in. So
yeah, I think that's healthy. I do that once every 5 or 6 months. I'll just go through my list and go, okay, I just haven't watched a video from this channel for 6 months, so why is it still on my list? And I do that. And then, like you say, if you do find you miss a channel, you just add it back.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Otherwise, your list gets so long, and you just get so far behind, and it feels daunting. Anyway, I'm just going to say a few hellos before we crack on. Oh, Tommy's in. Hey, you said old men, these look like Olympians. Hey?
Oh, yes, mate.
Fine specimens. You said before we went live, we've now got like the same haircut, glasses and beard. Look at us.
Yeah, I'm growing mine as an act of defiance against the family at the moment.
What you mean?
Yeah, Trish does not like the hairy look.
Okay.
So we're a bit of a dispute.
A choice.
We're in dispute over a few things at the moment. So yeah.
Right, and the beard is just one.
Yeah. So when I'm clean shaven, there's been it's like no man's land has been entered into, and we've come to an agreement.
Okay, so welcome if you're watching live. We thought we'd just get together. We might do this on a more of a regular basis and have a moan. I was thinking just before we went live, moaning about stuff and focusing on what's not going well, I find difficult because I think,
well, I don't,
because hear me out, because I was thinking through this just before we went live. I've been self-sufficient now, self-employed for pushing 20 years.
Wow.
And I've learned in that time to focus on what's going well, or if things aren't going well, I bury my head in work and dig my way out of it, right? And I think I've learned genuinely through that to not ignore the stuff, but I never focus on what's not going well. I don't really give it much brain space because you can end up spiraling downwards. So yeah, I don't tend to focus on that, I guess.
My missus has said to me for the last 20 odd years, I am the most moaning person she's ever met. She says you could moan on your own in an empty room, obviously, and you'd find something to moan about. The lack of noise, or there's no one there. She said, I don't consider it moaning. I've always considered it constructive criticism.
It's funny hearing that. I was just thinking, if Andrea just heard what I said, that I don't focus on the negative and don't moan, she would be effing and jeffing in my ear. I think Andrea would have a difference of opinion. I think when I said that, I'm talking about work. I can moan about TV, music, teenagers, stuff like that, right? Till the cows come home. But my business and that, I tend to have to stay focused on the positive and the things that are going well, and that's where I get my energy and my drive from.
Yeah,
you see, that's what I'm getting at. I think I can moan about general stuff, like with the best of them, for sure. So sales, as I just said, we have genuinely had the worst sort of 3 or 4 days turnover wise on eBay for years, which came out of the blue, really did come out of the blue. So how are you having bad sales or average? Where are you?
A good few months ago, when they brought them specifics out over here, and they did it over there, Andrew, his store got absolutely annihilated, and it took him a long time to try and get it back up to speed. But I wasn't affected too much. I was still ticking along. But now, oh my word, it's literally like I'm connected to eBay, but the information isn't getting through to them. And everyone I speak to, there's a few ladies I speak to over here. I've just been chatting to one this morning. I won't mention her name in case she doesn't want it, But her sales have absolutely tanked. Everyone you seem to speak to, it doesn't seem to matter which country you're in either. People are reporting en masse that sales are poor. Now, what do you attribute that to? I mean, I know times are harder and people perhaps aren't spending as much. Are people going on to other platforms? I know Amazon's big in the UK and America, but it's not so big over here. It's virtually non-existent. But in my opinion, are they buying off the likes of Depop or even through Facebook, Instagram? I can't work it out. I don't think anyone can. It's just it's unbelievable, the sheer quantity of people reporting slow sales. There's got to be some common, factor linking all these slow sales together.
Yeah,
got to be.
Like I say, Andrea said that a lot of the girls that she talks to had reported slow sales. Sweat Mopper there in the chat says, I've gone from quadrupling my sales to very little. So they've seen a drop there. G-Man Panthro is in slow here. Apart from my 2 auctions, my cassette tape bundles bought in 200 and my Leica sighting scope bought in 495. So that's auctions. So
Yeah.
they're still doing okay. That's interesting.
The thing is with auctions, in the UK, this is what I don't like about eBay. They base their their ethos or whatever on a level selling platform for both seller and buyer. We know that's not true. But each individual country seems to have different rules for their sites. Now, you in the UK, you get free auctions, don't you? Or do you? Or?
We get a certain allocation of, I always forget numbers. Yeah, 100 or whatever free auctions. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we get as a normal, just someone selling stuff out of the house. I think they get 40 free auctions. As a store owner, well, it doesn't matter about the free ones and what have you. To put an auction on eBay Australia for free, it has to be within the collectibles category. Everything else is a $3.30 fee.
Yeah.
So if I had this, which I have, and I wanted to put it on an auction, it'd cost me $3.30 just to put it on as an auction format. So it's great that the previous comment was making some good money there off auctions. But how many do you want to list at $3.30 on the off chance there might be a rush for what you've got?
You've mentioned that before when we've chatted, and I've never understood why they would make it different just for Australia. I mean, in the UK, they make auctions really quite cheap to do. I think on a private account, I think, starting at 99p, they give them loads of free ones all the time, and they push that quite hard. So why on earth somebody's decided they'll jack up the price?
Idea.
I don't know. I was just going to read. Carol is in. Hi, Carol. Says, I took all my listings off last week out of frustration and said to myself, I've had enough of eBay, and they're back up today. It's a change of heart.
It's like that. It's like that quote from The Godfather, isn't it? I don't know it off by heart, but it's like, just when you thought you could get out, they reel you back in. It's like they've got this grip on you, and they'll tease you with a few good sales at the beginning or the end of the week, and you'll think, great, it's back up and running, and then absolutely whack you on the back of the head for the rest of the week. It
was kind of like that for us. The last decent sale we had before we've had a trickle coming in was a £300 car part. So we were like, as good as your last sale, and then it just went like, that. What are those things? Those like trees rolling across the desert. That sort of thing.
Rushes or something. I don't know. Bull rush or something.
Yeah, there's always somebody that bucks the trend. Whenever somebody said that their sales are slow, if I said it in the past, or Zahir has in his lives, there's somebody that comes in and says, I've just had the best week ever. I mean, Baz says there, I can't list fast enough, it's flying out. There's always that going on. But generally, from the people we both speak to, things seem to have taken a dip. So let's see if there's any more comments. I know I've missed a load. Apparently Rod is in demand.
yes, Her Majesty wants me back.
Sell yourself. There you go. You're in demand.
Tried that. I got an item not described. It's broken.
Is it boys allowed? Is it only boys allowed? Do you want to come on and chat, Lex? I can send you the link if you do. You can be a grumpy old man with us. Let's see. What's that there? Owen says, another auction site I use, Catawiki, not heard of that, has issues with Australia too. Oh, okay.
Never heard of that one. I'll have to write that down. Cheers. Don't forget it, Catawiki. Hope it's not a dodgy site you're sending me to.
Yeah. Robert was playing the quiz earlier. Well done on that. I think Robert was second in the end. Oh, fantastic. There I was watching old Tack Chats, and here's another live. Blimey.
See, I've thought about ending as lady said before, ending all my listings and just basically starting afresh. But is it worth the time for the results you may get? You know,
I don't know. I've slipped out of the habit of ending my fixed price stuff and then manually putting it back on. I know Derek still is in the habit of doing that on a daily basis, so they don't end themselves and relist. He ends similar. I've got out of the habit of that. Whether that's anything to do with this, I doubt. But I was just going to read Antique Curios. My sales are great, but I do 300 auctions a month. So again, that's somebody promoting the auctions idea. Going to be tricky for you, obviously.
Well, there's nearly £1,000 there if I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
If I had to rely on buy it now, I would be facing mild peril. All about keeping cash flowing. Yeah. And I have dabbled with putting stuff on auction, a small percentage of my store, just putting it onto auction. And I had really mixed results. Speaking of Lex, who was in the chat a minute ago, Lex does regular weekly auctions, just picks stuff out of the store and switches it over.
Yeah.
Andrea started doing that, wasn't getting results from it, so stopped doing it.
So I went through a phase a while ago, about 2 years ago. Edward, who you do the chats with recently, Walter, whichever he uses that day. I used to talk with Edward quite regular regarding a lot of stuff I was picking up over here, such as silver plate and things. And he's quite he's more than knowledgeable on all that stuff. And I just cannot seem to sell that over here. And I was trying for like rolling auctions because I was able to put that in the collectibles category and get the free listing. And my theory was if I could put X amount a day and end it 7 days later, then and keep continuing it, basically on every day, hopefully you would have some cash flow because something would have sold.
Yeah.
Can't do that with the stuff I want to sell because the stuff I was thinking of or trying to sell, such as the collectibles, it's shocking. I just cannot sell it over here. I know people do, but
Tori's put a comment in saying, "Is it as simple as there are so many more people doing it now?" I assume that's what you meant there.
Yeah.
Which plays into, I know you haven't seen it yet, but check out Ads' video because he's talking about that perennial thing that comes up about is oversharing and the YouTube will blame for all of this. And and of course I'm watching it and my name comes up within a minute into it. I'm like, great, here we go. I put my opinions on the comments actually, so you can go and check out what I said.
Okay.
The thing about that is there's no doubt that it has an effect. You'd be crazy to think it has zero effect. The fact that social media is huge now and there's been this information sharing explosion over the last 5-10 years, right? Yeah. And the thing is, reselling was never going to be the one thing that was kept secret from the internet. You know what I mean? It's not like talking about eBay, talking about selling and sharing what you've sold and what it sold for was ever going to remain some secret niche. It wasn't going to happen. The fact that it's me and it's Lonnie and it's you that are talking about it is irrelevant. The internet and social media in particular, and I think Instagram is as bigger than YouTube for sharing about what to look for and stuff. It was always going to happen that way. Once the social media thing exploded, the reselling as a niche was always going to end up being talked about.
Yeah.
Deal with it because it's out there and it's not going away. It
boils down to in times of struggle where either sales are slow, lack of money coming in through that, or you feel there's too many people on. You've got to look at alternative avenues to make that shortfall up, whether it be a different platform, whether it be just propping it up with, I don't know, God forbid, part-time work, just to keep going through the harder times. And you'll find a lot of, I think these past 2 months, not just February, but February historically has been slow for me. But I think you'll find these past 2 months, if the slump for a lot of people continue, you'll find a lot of people who've just gone onto eBay after seeing all these videos and thinking it was the holy grail, will disappear. They'll just be like, sod this. This is I'm getting nothing for it, and disappear. So it might, as horrible as this sounds, it might be, a kind of a cleansing process.
That's a continual thing that goes on anyway. People dipping into the reselling world, finding out it's not as easy as they'd imagined, and some people, they're not cut out for it, and they move on, which is the natural process of this. But I mean, talking about the rises and falls in sales, I mean, I've been in it long enough to see it all, and I'm not worried about the fact that we've just had a crap weekend. It is quite kind of, I've noticed it, and I'm talking about it because it's quite pronounced and out of the blue, so it's worth mentioning. But it will come back round again. And my response to sales dropping is to double my efforts with listing. I've said 1,000 times, I'm not very efficient. I know I could be more efficient. So I pick up the slack when things dip. I'm finishing off these electronics tonight, and then I've got a heap of Lego over there for just this sort of event that I can pile on and hopefully turn that over quickly and just make up the shortfall. But rises and falls in any self-employment, you have to kind of be prepared for that, because we don't have a paycheck. We don't have a fixed paycheck anyway.
No.
So if you don't build into your business a kind of resilience that can take this, it's going to be painful. It's not for the fact. I mean, we've struggled in the past when we set up Andrea's clothing shop, going back, must be 4 or 5 years ago now. We battled with cash flow for the year and a half that we had it. We were constantly on the line, and then we ended up, the numbers didn't lie, and we closed it. That's what business is like. It's brutal, and it comes down to numbers.
I mean, I won't say too much about this, because we did say before we came on, we'd only go for a short while, because there's a lady over here who's got her live show going on at, well, literally in about a quarter of an hour. And I think this is something she's going to talk about in her live stream, but it kind of her personal experience debunks the theory of keep listing. And her personal circumstance this past month has just proved to me and to her and a few others that theory is utter nonsense. You do not need to keep listing. Concentrate on the listings you've got. Reword them, rejig them. I've always said to myself, what's the point in going buying more stuff and loading it up if the stuff you've already got isn't selling? Concentrate on the stuff you've already got. See, get that shifted.
So by just marketing it differently, changing the title, changing the keywords.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just something that isn't au fait at the moment. No one wants it. So, it might be that no one wants this game now. They've not wanted it for 2 years. Load it up in a pile of other games and just sell it as a bundle. Just everyone knows what to do. Just get creative.
Yeah.
But So, but that's Mel for back from burnout. She's going live.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably watch when she does. So we'll try not to run over too much into that show. Let's pick out. I just highlighted that actually. Hi, Yorkshire traders, definitely caught the reselling bug, and I'm here to stay. Good for you.
Yeah.
Let me scroll back, and I've missed a load of chat.
So he made a good point before, but it just shot up the chat when I was waffling on, and I just scrolling through to try and get it. There it is. He said, buyers always change, as do their shopping habits. The problem is it's so easy to be running your eBay exactly as you were 3 years ago. And I think he's spot on with that. We tend to get into ruts and just chug along thinking everything's just going to happen as it did a day, a week, a month ago. And it doesn't. I think he's spot on with that.
Yeah. I don't know if Lex replied if she did want to come in and chat. Oh, I'm definitely not coming on now. I don't know what's going on there. I've missed loads of chat. I was going to I couldn't find the comment you were reading, so I've had to move on. Michael says there, I've lowered quite a few items by about 20% and did quite well. Just keeps me ticking over. I might look at running a sale anyway, because I've got a load of old stock to clear out.
I've been doing some tests on that.
Oh yeah,
recently. Only obviously personal tests. I good few months before Christmas, I was in one of Tommy Bernard's live streams, and he was talking about this. And basically, I did a sale a few weeks ago, and I did promoted listings by the same percentage drop, i.e., 20%. Yeah, no, 20% promoted. The promoted won hands down. It's not in eBay's interest to promote a sale. They earn no extra revenue from it. If you put a promoted on, they're going to get an extra 20%.
Right. Oh, for sure.
You know, it's
so if you've just marked it down using the markdown manager, they just get less commission because they get a smaller 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he was talking at that time. He was talking about if you wanted to try and combine the two, say run a 5% discount and a 15% promotion, you know, just jiggle it all about. Yeah, so I did that kind of for 2 weeks, and well, so there's a person here saying they get the same commission. I don't see how. I really don't.
No, because well, let's think it. So let's say you had an item on for a tenner, so you put a 20% sale on it, so you're going to sell it for £8.
£8.
Yeah, right. So they get a less end final value fee, and they don't get a promoted listing kickback. If you sell it promoted, you sell it for the same amount because the promotion. Yeah, but then they get the percentage on top.
Yeah.
Surely. Anyway, Zahir is kind of reiterating that comment you said. I think we're at a point where the market's changing. Buyers are always changing as do their shopping habits. Problem is, it's so easy to be running your eBay exactly as you were 3 years ago. Yeah. And it feels like things are accelerating change-wise. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older and the weeks and months fly past. But it does feel like everything is evolving at a faster and faster pace. That's probably because I am a grumpy old man. But
I mean, is this anything to do? I mean, I'll throw this little conspiracy theory out there. Is this anything to do with the recent reports about eBay potentially being bought out, and this, that, and the other? You know, are they trying to artificially gear the figures somehow? And we need to stop people, which would be silly because you'd think a business would want to look as more profitable. I don't know.
If they gear it to look fancy, then they're messing that up. If they are tweaking and sales are going well. If there is something that we don't know in the background, it's more likely that they're trying to fix problems and you know, things are going wrong with the search or whatever, and our stuff isn't visible. I'd say it's more likely something to do with that, but who knows? We don't know. I was just going to read that. Benjamin says it feels like some people fake it to build a YouTube channel and get on the bandwagon and will give up after a year or two. The people that actually enjoy it and do it properly will always be around. I'm not sure that people have started reselling just to build a YouTube channel, because you'd make more money doing the reselling than the YouTube channel, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting opinion.
I was talking to someone yesterday about this, not that subject, but the kind of level of which, if someone wanted to do, I mean, your channel, 38,000 subscribers, that's, I would say, an exception to the rule. But I mean, you was one of, if not the first in the UK to start promoting this way of life, this business. But there's certainly a kind of a plateau that reselling, I feel, over here in Australia can hit in terms of subscriber numbers. You'd have to be creative in a different way, bring different aspects into the reselling genre.
Yeah, I doubt there is
the
a plateau. It probably looks like that now, but I think if yourself or somebody just creates content that stands out and transcends the country borders. There are channels a lot bigger than mine. You could look at Craigslist Hunter or Lonnie or Cincinnati Picker, whose channels are blowing up. They are big in America, but also a lot of Brits watch them.
Yes.
The Aussies all watch them.
Yeah,
and it's channels that have that extra something, I think, whether it's the content, whether it's their personality, whatever it is, to raise them above the crowd, because it is a crowd now. There are now hundreds of reselling channels. I can't keep up. I've stopped trying to keep up. So there is scope, and I think anybody can, raise their head above the rest and make a success of YouTube. But like anything, it gets harder and harder the more crowded it gets. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I just highlighted that Brum reseller. Hi, says, I work in the taxi industry. Uber came along and changed everything. If you don't adapt, you will lose out.
That's probably the best analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've been saying since we've been in chats together and stuff that it feels like there could be something lurking in the background, like Uber, with the transferring and selling of secondhand goods and stuff through the internet. That's new and fresh and does it cleverly and easily somehow. That's just going to come along and make eBay go, holy cow, didn't see that coming. But
yeah,
I don't know if there is something waiting in the wings, or whether eBay are trying to do that themselves and shake it up. I think they need to, maybe. Who knows?
Well, in the meantime, we all suffer in silence. I agree with Chris there, Cookie and the Aidens. I've said this for months with Andrew, I do the waffle with. Andrew hates Facebook Marketplace with a passion. He can't be doing with people on it. He really can't. And I do agree that Marketplace in the next year or so will be nipping well and truly at the tail, the feet of eBay. So if they get some kind of, they're bringing in their own Facebook currency, apparently, aren't they? And all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But yeah, I
don't know. I don't keep up enough with that sort of stuff, really. There's so much gossip and half facts out there. It's really hard to know what's going on. But Tommy himself there says, if you want a conspiracy, it's eBay making it look like PayPal can't process payments. So everyone switches to managed payments. Thousands a day cannot pay with both buy it now and offers.
Oh,
it's news to me. But
do you know the one saving grace? Sorry, the one saving grace out of all of my recent lack of sales is eBay itself, ironically, because I don't think if they hadn't have introduced this send offers to buyers, my sales would be even worse than what they are.
Oh,
I would say 60% of my sales recently have come via a result of sending offers to buyers. So where would I be without that option? So yeah, it's like,
another comment on fake videos. I want to find these fake videos. Some definitely are faking resale videos. You can tell because they move on to other types of make money content. Okay. Yeah, interesting.
Is that within the same YouTube channel that they're already running for reselling? Maybe Tommy's right there. Maybe it is a payment accessibility issue.
Talking about US resellers on YouTube have more subscribers than the UK ones. I think in the main, yeah, I think that's true. That the channels that we've seen blow up are all in America. I think there's just a bigger audience for reselling. I mean, it's a bigger population, and a lot of reselling content doesn't translate. The channels that I find I can really relate to are here in the UK. And likewise with yourself, Rod, you have a little community there, and that's naturally how it forms. And I think the fact that the Americans have the bigger numbers are that they have a bigger natural kind of home base. The ones that, as I said before, the ones that go really big transcend all the borders anyway. But yeah, that's what I think on that. Let's find another question or comment before we think about wrapping up.
Yes, I do not want to end up in another boot camp with Mel. I certainly don't want to incur Bronwyn's wrath.
Right, let's have a look.
I'm a firm believer of Robert. Yeah, I was just going to say about that one. Firm believer in that. Always have several little streams pouring in instead of one ocean.
Yeah, you should never have all your eggs in one basket. As if eBay explodes overnight.
Yeah.
I think it means ends, not goes even bigger.
No
other income streams, you're royally stuffed. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, we have Amazon, but I'm more cheesed off with Amazon than eBay still. I need to ring them up, and I keep putting it off because I know it's going to be like pulling teeth. But yeah, I think you're right. So okay. Well, I will report back probably on Sunday and let people know if we had a better week than we had a weekend. I'm going to list a few more electronics tonight, and then the plan is to sort out. I mean, it's going to take me a few days to sort it. There's literally 35 kilos of mixed Lego.
Yeah.
But I've had it sat there long enough. It needs to be sold, and hopefully it'll sell nice and quick and turn things around. So
okay.
We're going to call it there. We may do these once every now and again, either here or on Rod's channel. If you're not subbed to Rod, there should be a link below. Go and check out Rod's content. And yeah, we'll do another one sometime and B2.
Okay. That grumpy old, it was called Grumpy Old Man, wasn't it? The series, that Jack Lemmon and the other fella, Walter Matthau.
There was a film, wasn't there?
Yeah, there used to be a TV series as well back in the day. God, that is showing me age.
Yeah. Well, like you said the other night, you used the two Muppets as a fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that idea. We can do the two grumpy Muppets.
All right. Well, I'd best to get over to Mel's channel and get my spanner out. So.
Yeah, jump over to Back from Burnout. Mel, also another Australian reseller. Yeah. And we'll see you over there. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, Rod.
Cheers, Nick. Thank you.